Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. My name is Olivia Straniro. I'm from Group 3, along with my group mates, Nur Wahyuning Putri, Aprilia Ristanti, and Deva Anggun. We will present our topic entitled Assessing Reading Authentically. First of all, what is reading? Reading is the process of looking at a series of written symbols and getting meaning from them. When we read, we use our eyes to read the written symbols, such as letters, punctuation marks, and space, and we use our brain to convert them into words, sentence, and paragraph that communicate something to us. There is 7 reading technique for increasing learning and knowledge. I will present 4 of them. First, scanning. Scanning through the text is a reading strategy that is used for getting some specific points by looking at the whole text. For highlighting the important points of a book, the readers can skim through the summary or the preface or the beginning and the end of chapters of that book. Second is scanning. This reading technique is used for getting the gist of the whole text read. Under this technique, we read quickly to get the main points and skip over the details. The third is active reading. Active reading aims to get an in-depth understanding of the text. Under this technique, the reader actively involved with the text while reading it. Fourth is detailed reading. This technique is used for extracting information accurately from the whole text. Under this technique, we read every word for understanding the meaning of the text. There is four technique from seven, and the rest will be presented by Nur Wahyuning Putri. That's all for me. Thank you.
Okay, I will continue about 7 reading techniques for increasing learning and knowledge, and I will continue it from speed. Speed reading is actually a combination of various reading methods. The aim of speed reading is basically to increase the reading speed without compromising the understanding of the text reading. Some of the strategies used in speed reading are as follows: identifying words without focusing on each letter, not to sounding out all words, not sub-focalizing some phrases, spending less time on some phrases than others, and the last is skimming small sections. The next is structure, proportion, and evaluation. These methods is by Mortimer Adler in his book. The title is How to Read a Book. This reading technique is mainly applicable to non-fiction writing. This technique suggests reading as the 3 following pattern. The first is studying the structure of the word. Second, studying the logical proportion made and organized into chains of inference. The last is evaluation of the merits of the arguments and conclusions. The next is survey, question, read, recite, review. These methods aims to facilitate a clear understanding of the text that the reader would be able to teach whatever he has learned during the process of reading. The process involves 5 different steps, which are as follows. First, survey. The survey involves getting a quick idea of the whole writing piece. The second is question. Prepare question in our mind and look for the answer while reading the text and trying to make out the underlying meaning of the text. Read. The reader should read selectively if they are looking for any specific. Recite. The reader should answer the question in his own words using only the keywords that are required to sum up the complete idea. And last is review. The reader should review the entire things in his mind. And I will explain about 6 essential skills for reading comprehension. These are essential skills for reading comprehension and tips on what can help kids improve this skill. First is decoding. Decoding is a vital step in the reading process. Kids use this skill to sound out words they have heard before but haven't seen written out. Decoding relies on an early language skill called phonemic awareness. It lets kids hear individual sounds in words, known as phonemic. Second is fluency. To read fluently, kids need to instantly recognize words, including ones they can sound out. Fluency speeds up the rate at which they can read and understand text. It's also important when kids encounter irregular words like of and the, which can be sounded out. And the third is vocabulary. Having a strong vocabulary is a key component of reading comprehension. Students can learn vocabulary through instruction, but they typically learn the meaning of words through everyday experience and also by reading. The more words kids are exposed to, the richer their vocabulary becomes. The next is sentence construction and cohesion. Understanding how sentences are built might seem like a writing skill, so might connecting ideas within and between sentences, which is called cohesion. But these skills are important for reading comprehension as well. Knowing how ideas link up at the sentence level helps kids get meaning from passage and entire text. It also leads to something called coherence, or the ability to connect idea to other ideas in an overall piece of writing. And the next is reasoning and background knowledge. Most readers relate what they have read to what they know. So it's important for kids to have background to or their knowledge about the word when they read. They also need to be able to read between the lines and pull out meaning even when it's not literally spelled out. The sixth is working memory and attention. These two skills are both of a group of abilities known as executive function. They are different but closely related. Working memory allows them to hold on to that information and use it to gain meaning and build knowledge from what they're reading. The ability to self-monitor while reading is also tied. Kids need to be able to recognize when they don't understand something. Then they need to stop, go back and read it to clear up any confusion they may have.
Hello, my name is Aprilia Ristanti from Group 3 and here I will continue our presentation about assessing reading authentically. The next part is about the method or strategies. Our group decided to use collaborative strategies reading or CSR to teach students to use comprehension strategies while working cooperatively. Student strategies include preview the text, giving ongoing feedback by deciding click I get it or clap I don't get it at the end of each paragraph, getting the gist of the most important part of the text, and the last one is wrapping up the key ideas. For the procedure, we will need to use these four comprehension strategies. Number one is preview. In this part, we will ask the student to preview the entire passage before they read each session. The goal of this preview are for students to learn about the topic as much as they can in the brief period of time, to active their background knowledge about the topic, and to help them to make prediction about what will they learn. When students preview before reading, they should look at the heading, like words that are blocked, underlined, picture, table, graphic, and other ID information to help them to find two things. There are brainstorm what they know about the topic. Number two is predict what will they learn about the topic. The next number two is click and clap. The goal of clicking and clacking is to teach the student to monitoring their reading comprehension, and to identify when they have breakdown in understanding. Click refer to the portion of the text that makes sense for the reader, while clang means the opposite. For example, when students do not know the meaning of the word, it is called clang. Many students with reading and learning problems fail to monitor their understanding when they read. Clicking and clacking is designed to teach students to pay attention to what they are understanding or failing understanding, what they are reading or what being read to them. Number 3 is about get a quiz. Students learn to get a quiz by identifying the most important idea in each section of the text. The goal of getting the quiz is to teach the student to restate their own word, the most important point, as the way of making sure that they understood what they have read. These strategies can improve students' understanding and memory of what they have learned. The teacher can ask the student to identify the most important person, place, or thing in the paragraph they just have read, and then ask them to tell you in their own words what is the most important idea about the person, place, or the things. Teach students to provide the kids in the few words as possible while conveying the most meaning by leaving the details. For the last part, number 4 is wrap up. Students learn to wrap up by formulating question and answer about what they have learned by review the key ideas. The goal are to improve students' knowledge, understanding, and memory what they have read. Teachers can ask the students about the most important point in the passage they have read by using questions who, what, where, when, why, and how. For the review, the teacher can ask the students to write down the most important idea they learned from the day's reading assignment in their CSR learning logs. They can take turn for sharing what they have learned with their classmates. Many students can share their best idea in a short period of time, and it can provide the teacher with the valuable information about each student's level of understanding. I think that's all from me. The next part will be explained by the next presenter.
My name is Deva Agun Pratiwi and I will explain about the instrumental assessment used for this method. First is speaking. This method will assess the students whether they could grasp the materials given or not. And so, the teacher will give a few questions and the students will need to answer through speaking. This could also be used as the instrumental assessment by how much they could understand the text that they read by questioning them and let them speak it out loud. This will help them increase their confidence through speaking in public and assess their understanding. This method could also assess the students in their reading comprehension by looking at how much information they could get from reading the text that they have read. The teacher will be able to assess the students in their comprehension skills from letting the students to speak or by reading the summary that they have wrote. The teacher could see how much information the student could understand from reading it. This also helps the students to enrich their understanding in the content area. And next is to assess the student effort in the group. In this case, the teacher will assess how cooperative the students do in their group by how much effort they could give to the group. They will be able to cooperate with each other if they put much effort in it. And the last is fluency. This does not concern with speaking fluency, but how fluent the students in reading the text and how fast they could read and understand the text. They should also be able to read not only what was written in the text, but they should also be able to read those in between the lines and behind the lines. This should also be able to increase their vocabulary in how much new vocabularies that they could get from reading the text, and the teacher could also assess how much new vocabularies that they have found in the text. That's all for me.